Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Starknet Espresso, the podcast where we'll brew the most insightful conversations with innovators shaping the Starknet ecosystem. I'm your host, Uche, and today we have a very special guest in our midst, Emilie, the head of community at OnlyDust, and we are thrilled to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you. So let's kick things. Start by introducing yourself to our audience and maybe a little bit about how you got involved with OnlyDust.
Cool. So, for those of you that do not know me, I'm Emilie, and I work for OnlyDust, in charge of the community. And how I ended up in OnlyDust, it's quite random. Actually, I did not know anything about the Web3 space at all, or even open source. Like, I knew it by name. Let's say, we talk about it, but I did not know fully what it was about. I studied business and communications, then into the startup tech space in Web2 quite early on. And then from there, I decided to stop the internet sector, created my own organic shop with my partner. And then that was like during the COVID time. and OnlyDust came at the right moments. Yeah, and that's how I decided to give it a go. It sounded really interesting. And I'm loving it right now. But yeah, did not know anything about Web3 in the beginning, so maybe that's also useful for those in the community that are wondering whether they to have that sort of background. I would say not necessarily. You just need to be motivated.
True. That's a very interesting journey. I think most of us that are going to Web3, we didn't have background in Web3 or let's say computer programming. For one, I did engineering in school, mechanical engineering. And here I am, I find myself in Web3 too. So somehow nature just finds a way to link us up all together. So yeah, OnlyDust. Tell me, what is OnlyDust about and how is it? What role does it play in the Starknet ecosystem?
In the Starknet ecosystem. Okay. So OnlyDust, it's a platform that connects developers with open source projects, principally in Web3. So I would say to think of it more like it's a launch pad to build your profile, to explore amazing, different projects with different technologies in the Web3 space, develop your skills, and then for those that are the most motivated to then build their own open source project that can then be put on the platform. And basically, the role it has with the Starknet ecosystem, Starknet is an amazing partner that we've had for a long time. I would say since the beginning that we collaborate closely with. The role is that the role that we have with the Starknet ecosystem, we work closely with them to help onboard developers to contribute to the amazing projects that are in the ecosystem, and as well to encourage developers if they have ideas to start building projects. And today we recently launched our dev care program that will help developers go through this funnel. To start first contributing, building their skills portfolio, and then move on towards their entrepreneurial journey, let's say, into Starknet.
Yeah. One of the things I can, attest to as far as OnlyDust is concerned, because I and my friends, we finished Starknet, learning how to code on Starknet and Cairo programming. I think that was last year. And a couple of us, one thing OnlyDust did for most of my friends was they had a place to learn, put their skills to use. And there's a lot of them are doing very well as far as OnlyDust and contributing to Starknet is concerned. And I think there's that motivation that comes from OnlyDust to just as a matter of, the kind of, what would you say, platform you guys give to, especially young developers. Yeah. So I agree with what you're saying. It's been outstanding what you guys are doing on on Starknet. Are there any standout projects right now from OnlyDust?
So
From what
like
you see?
I think that like the standout projects that people like tend to know about is, for example, Kakarot, right?
Yeah.
That started off, from the very beginning, Madeira as well, and there's actually a few recent projects that gone mainnet. Like for example, Go Stark Me was a project that went to mainnet, and so there's other projects coming up, which are aiming to go mainnet soon too. So there's a variety of projects that do stand out from OnlyDust. So it's great. It's great to see that.
Oh, great, fantastic. I mean, I know the success of OnlyDust, but just for the sake of our viewers, what would you say has been the response from contributors and developers? Let's say, yeah.
You mean, sorry, the response in what way
How have they
of the
taken
platform?
like the opportunity that OnlyDust presents offers? How has the response? How has it been?
I like for the time being quite positively in the sense that for developers that come on the platform, they get to really explore the projects, they get to build their skills, and there are opportunities that are put in place to help them go further. Now that we are growing a lot, what was great was that we were able to grow with the community, always take feedback from the community, and I think that was like the response was positive from the community side of things, because we take that into account to help always improve the platform as much as possible for them, and we're catering really the developers. And I think that as mentioned, the dev care program that is launched is also to further support that, so that people don't feel alone. Because the community was growing so much. I was alone growing with it. And now it's good to have a team in place with Sophia piloting that, and with the dev care team, and I think that response as well has been very favorable.
Great, great. I mean, one of the things that I think it's positive is when you have a community around you, especially when you're starting out, when you have the right community around you, it does help you like grow and blossom in the ecosystem. So I agree, the community is very important. So
Very
wonderful
important.
working. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The community is definitely important, because that's what makes it all work, right? So it's always important to get their feedback, and I feel that the community itself is very open, very great, and I feel as well in the Starknet ecosystem too. The community is really good, really strong. Starknet does a good job with that too. You don't just do something and just let the community do whatever. You're here to support them.
Sure, sure. I mean, most of the people that come on my show, one of the unique things that they talked about Starknet is the community. I've had different people come on here and you ask them what's the best thing about Starknet, and it's just the community, the community. Even as I started out this podcast just a little over 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and I've had people like Elias Sadatis, that's the CEO of Kakarot, come on
Yes.
yeah, so I mean, the community support is amazing when it comes to Starknet. To be sure, I understand what OnlyDust is about. So there's a path for funding projects, and there's also a path for incentives for contributors, right?
Okay, so that part is something that we are currently changing into a new direction. But just to say, we don't fund projects in the sense that you cannot apply for OnlyDust to get funding. We used to do this sort of committee thing, I think it was every 2 months with Starknet to be able to provide grants for projects that were voted amongst 40, I think it was 40 voters on which projects were deemed to have the most impact, etc. So these grants were distributed, from Starknet via us to projects. This was done because Starknet did not yet have in place their seed program that they currently have. So we stopped doing that. So I do recommend that for projects that are looking for grants for funding, you can go directly with Starknet. However, what we do is that we provide grants, which can be seen as bonuses, let's say, to projects in the ecosystem based on their performance, based on their activity, on the performance of the project, on the month's activity. So for instance, whether a project, how many people they onboarded, bonus points if it's new people in the ecosystem, maybe bonus points as well for contributors that stay in the ecosystem later on, right? So we provide that grant according to the performance metrics. And why I'm saying that things are changing is that we started doing this retroactive grant now. So this is a new direction that we are doing, but we are going to see more about the eligibility of what projects can receive those grants first off. And the process of contributions. So we've always in the past said that, like if you do a good, quality PR, you may be able to get rewarded, right? So we still do that currently. It's just that now it's going to be based on the month's activity rather than just during, the famous OD hacks, the events that we did on a monthly basis. Now we're still doing our open source week. The next one is coming the 20th of February. But we are rewarding contributions based on high quality work. So the idea is that developers that come onto the platform, they're here principally to build their skills, build their portfolios. If they make great, valuable contributions, they may get a reward at the end. But it's no longer like in the past, it was more as though it was the end goal, and we've forgotten that the end goal of open source, it's not that. It's really build your portfolio. If you're interested in the ecosystem, we are here to help, to support you to move on. And these rewards, these grants that you get are considered, bonuses as a thank you of the value that you've been creating.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I totally agree with the approach now. So it doesn't look like it's a money-driven, what would you say, system, but more like a value-driven system. So it's dependent on how much value you bring, not just, coming on the system to collect money. I think it makes a lot more sense. You mentioned OD hacks. No, sorry, I mean, you can. Yeah.
Sorry, say it again.
So I was going to say, you mentioned OD hacks during your last explanation. What's OD hacks? Is it still ongoing too?
Yeah, so OD Hacks is our open source week that we do on a monthly basis. And during this week is where contributors can come and tackle open issues from projects that are participating during this event. In the past, we called it OD Hacks because it was fun. It was a great name. However, it led to confusion because people would think that, oh, I just do the hack and then I have to wait for another event to continue contributing, whereas that's why we're changing the name now, and so we're asking the community to vote on names for the next event, just so that the community knows that this open source week, it's great because you'll be able to explore different projects, and these are projects that have a number of issues ready to go for many contributors to apply to. But after those events, you can still contribute, find other projects, or even continue maybe in the project if there are other issues that are there along the way. But
Great.
the event is still ongoing, and if you make valuable contributions, this is where you may get a reward, but at the end of the month, according to your activity.
Okay. Makes a lot more sense. So let's for contributors or developers that want to get on board or OnlyDust, how do they go about it?
They just need to sign up. So sign up. They have to have a GitHub profile. Sign up on the platform, and they can browse the projects that we have and filter. For example, if they're interested, in the Starknet ecosystem, they can filter the projects that are from there, and all they need to do is see the issues that are open and apply. Right. What I do recommend, though, when you're just starting out, is always communicate. Join the Telegram groups, say hello, join the community groups, talk to us from OnlyDust. We're really friendly, and we can help, orient you, guide you. But yeah, the idea is always say hello. I think that's definitely something that newcomers should know, to not be afraid, because I know that there were quite a bit of newcomers sometimes, afraid of can I talk to so-and-so? No, it's really important, because that way you make a connection with the maintainers. And if there are no issues available yet, but you had a good feeling with the maintainer, sometimes maintainers will be like, okay, let's maybe create an issue for you. Or maybe you have an idea and you can tell the maintainer, hey, how about we try this out,
Okay. Yeah, so I think I should go back to the group and say hello, because I didn't say hello.
Say hello, please. Say hello. Say hello, Emilie. Hello, Emilie. He does.
I will after the school. I imagine you're managing a very large community. What has the challenges been? I mean, managing this enormous community, I would say.
I think so. In the past, right? It was really making sure that everyone was taken care of. The challenge was to be as involved as possible. That was a challenge, but that was a great challenge. And now that we are growing even more, that's where the dev care program is great, because we'll have more support for the different developers. Because I think there came to be a limit where I couldn't be as 100% as I was. And I think that's a challenge sometimes, the community, to be like, okay, this was great, but now how can we scale that, right? And the other challenge, I would say, that was like what I'm facing right now, was the fact that we were changing the direction of how the retroactive grants for projects and for contributors were going to take into effect. Because I mean, it's a new direction, and you need to always make sure that everyone gets something fairly, but to understand as well why we're changing, directions. And yeah, that was the recent challenge. But what I love about the community, it's really the community itself, is the fact that, people are mostly 95% very polite and very receptive of feedback. And we are also receptive of feedback. And that's great. It's just like, I really think that we grow, as I said at the beginning, we grow with the community. And the community is very, very important to us. Like we see them as, individuals. It's not just users for me, or just developers. No. So yeah.
Oh, great. I'm just thinking about it, how hectic it have been for you when before you had so many hands coming in to help. Because I see what happens in the group. Different people with different problems. Well, yeah, I mean, it's good how you've managed it. But what are the rewards for you? What would you say are the rewards for you so far? I mean, we talked about
What is the
challenges.
what? Sorry, I didn't hear that. Say it
Yeah, I
again.
said, no, I'm saying we talked about the challenges, but I also imagine that you have like moments where you feel, okay, if it was worth it, it's rewarding. Like, what has been the rewarding moments for you in the,
Oh, the rewarding moments
yeah,
of this. It's to see developers move on, in the sense that, for example, like contributors that just started out, maybe contributing to one or two issues, and then starting to gain more experience, and then after building maybe their own project that are great, and seeing that go, that let's say that progression, that evolution, for me, that's the most rewarding, because we were there with them from the beginning, and to see them grow like that, I think that that's extremely rewarding. And also meeting the community face to face in real life, I find that really rewarding too.
great, great. That's nice. I think I know a couple of people that have moved on from OnlyDust. That's here in Nigeria. I don't know if you know Faith
If I
Roberts,
know who?
Faith Roberts.
Yes, awesome. She's great, and as well for the community in Nigeria, and seeing her grow, and she's doing her own thing too. Her project with her team, Custos Directis, and
Yeah,
it's great. She's going forward. Doing many events. No, Faith is a great example of seeing her grow,
yeah.
and yeah, and I know that she's great. She's going to do even more, and that's lovely.
Yeah, yeah, she was great. She was great. She's been on this show too. She talked about this to directories, and she also mentioned
Oh, did
only
she? I'm
those.
going to
Yeah,
listen to it. It's on YouTube?
yeah, yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure. One thing, I had uh, Shadowfax. She's the gaming lead for Starknet. She was on the show. I think that was a few weeks back, and we're just talking about how women are doing very well in the ecosystem now. But I understand there's still a lot of work to do because a lot of people come with the idea that this is a male-dominated field, and they are kind of taking aback a bit. So I'm looking at it. One thing I want to do is to have people like you see things that talk about your challenges and also have a way to encourage them to say, okay, you guys can do it. I mean, you guys are flourishing very well. Shadowfax is doing well. Faith is doing extremely well. You are doing well. So they can see people in some of role model and then they can have this feeling, yeah, we belong here. What has been your challenges in the ecosystem since you joined? And how have you addressed those challenges?
I I've actually been feeling pretty blessed to be in this space. I've felt that the blockchain Web3 world, even though it is definitely more, let's say, male, masculine oriented, that I've always felt seen and heard. But that said, it's always amazing and great to see more women in the space, and especially women developers. I would say, I think that the challenge is sometimes, thinking like, am I here where I'm supposed to be? Or, being afraid to take initiatives to talk. I think that that is something that as a woman, sometimes you do feel that. And for me, I think that that's a challenge that we always, that we should though put ourselves out there. I always advise to try to communicate, and that people are very friendly. I feel that.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that it's to try to not be afraid, right, of things in general. And I feel that it's not just in the Web3 space; it can be in industry. You know, we sometimes, you do sometimes feel inferior, or you feel that you have to do more to get attention. And no, like stay true to yourself. Know that people are always here to help, and this community that we have as well of women, that we're here to support one another. It's amazing. It feels great. We're always encouraging, you know, one another, and I think that that's something that's great. That's great in the space. I'm not saying that obviously there's no improvements, you know, to be made, but from my experience, I feel blessed. I really do. Compared to the Web2 space, I feel like where I'm supposed to be. Maybe also I'm older, right? So like you feel like, you know, you mature with experience. Yeah. Me, it's probably not necessarily being a woman. It's more like my age, because there's so many young people in the blockchain space. But like I still feel it's very, you know, very open, very open. That's how I feel.
Great. I mean, Shadow Park, she echoed the same sentiments like you know, being strong, being brave. I think that was some of the things that she mentioned. Yeah, but so generally, what advice would you give women, you know, just getting into this ecosystem? What would be your advice to them?
I would advise to, you know, definitely connect. It's connect with people, talk to one or another, join groups, join even the women groups. You know, there's many groups on Telegram, for example, like Women in Web3 space, or I think there's a group as well for Women in Starknet. You can start there, say hello, and from there you'll be able to get, you know, little by little connections. Go to events as well, because when there are events that are organized, you know, locally or even online, that's also the great thing about internet, is you can also join, you know, events online. I would say, yeah, you know, be there, be present, be visible, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. People are super, as I said, like super open. I feel super helpful. So if you have questions, go for it, you know. And if you're, you know, on the shy side, you know, you don't need to do it all in one go, just little by little. And one connection, two connections, it'll help you go. And for developers, women that are, you know, developers, continue coding, continue contributing, build your profile.
Great. Honestly, it's been inspiring, and it's been motivating, you know, listening to you, and I'm sure it's going to encourage a lot of people that are going to watch this. I mean, I'm awed by, you know, how you know, articulated the things that you talked about today, and I'm really happy. I'm honored that you found our time to, you know, join us on Starknet Espresso. But before we go, are there things that we should be expecting from OnlyDust? Any updates that we should be looking out for?
You'll see. No, but like for now, I would say that the dev care program is definitely something to look out for, because that is something that we're working on to make sure that developers get the full support in on their journey. And we are also revamping a few things on the platform to make it much easier to discover and much easier to see open issues, to connect with maintainers and so forth. And as you know, the space always changes, so we always have to continue to adapt with it. So there's going to be probably surprises, you know, in the future too.
Well, thank you very much. If our viewers want to reach out to you, how can they get to you?
On Telegram, it's it's Telegram at @BlueMeB. That's my name. You can put that in the comments.
I'm going to put that in the comment section.
They can connect me on there, or join the OD community group that we have.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Emilie, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lovely chat, and I'm happy to participate.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Emilie, for joining us today and sharing those words of wisdom, especially to ladies out there trying to get into Web3. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today. To our viewers out there, thank you for tuning in once again. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on exciting episodes like this in the future. As always, don't forget to keep learning, building, and remember, OnlyDust has a lot of opportunities for you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.